Hey guys, and welcome to the last video that I hopefully will record regarding my Lasek surgery. The last video, for a very simple reason, I waited a little bit longer than I originally wanted to. Then I think in the last video I told you that I would record another one after like 4 weeks. I waited a little bit longer. I think it has been 6 or 7 weeks now since I had the surgery, and I decided that this is probably the last time that I'm going to record a video about it, and I'm just going to sum up everything. In case that something goes wrong in the future, there's something like bad happening, I will probably record another video, but I don't really see a need at this point. And the reasons are quite simple. I mean, just going through the whole motion like once again to explain to you why I got the surgery and everything real quick. Before I got the surgery, I had minus 4.2 on both eyes, and my vision was really bad. I was wearing mostly contact lenses, and I was thinking about getting a surgery for a long time, but especially in Europe the surgery is really expensive. At first, when I thought about getting it, I was a little bit worried that it's your eyes, so you're like always worried that something might go wrong and that you will lose your eyesight, or even if it's successful, that there will be some kind of complication, that for example like you have to use eye drops your entire life. That was one of the major concerns that I had, because I was reading up online a lot about the surgery, and a lot of people mentioned that they had dry eyes. And I was never sure like how long that lasted, and if that's something that you have within the next few years after the surgery or just at the beginning. So I was really worried about it, but then after some time passed and after I moved to Korea, it was like an easy choice to go for the surgery, since a lot of my friends got it or got a different one. And I decided just to go for it and to kind of risk it. I mean, it's a small risk, but it's still, when it concerns your eyes, you're of course always a little bit reluctant and more anxious about it. I get Lasek surgery. There are actually two types of surgeries. There's Lasek and Lasek, and there's a little bit of a difference. The surgery itself is like very similar, but with Lasek, when they actually do the surgery and at the cornea they create a flap, and they clap the flap back after the surgery itself, so the eye heals a lot faster, and the next day you already have like perfect vision. But later on, if you are in a fight, for example, or if you play a lot of sports and you get a ball, just a hit on your eye, whatever, some kind of trauma, it can cause complications. So I actually opted for Lasek, which is a surgery that takes a lot more of recovery time. It takes like approximately 3 days where you are in a little bit of pain, and then another 4 weeks until your vision gets really good. But after the first like 5 days, your vision is supposed to increase like a lot. So I went through the entire process, and as mentioned in the videos before, I never really had any kind of pain, not even during the first 3 days. And the clinic in Gangnam where I got the surgery, it's the Dream Eye Center, actually advertises their Lasek surgery as kind of a painless Lasek surgery. I got a contact lens that protected my eyes for the first few days, and I think that probably helped quite a lot. But I talked to other people, like for example the StarCraft player Seed and others that had Lasek surgery, and they all told me that within the first 3 days they had a lot of pain and it was really uncomfortable. For me, that wasn't the case. Like, I don't know what exactly caused that, if it was really a difference in how they made the surgery, but the result was I was basically like pain-free for the entire duration. Then after like a week, the vision already got a lot better. At some point, it was really shifty, because the problem is that when you look at the monitor the entire time, your eyes get tired. Or if you go, I was explained that even if you go to the gym a lot and you do a lot of sports and your whole body gets exhausted, that is also going to affect your eyes a little bit in the sense that your eyes get a little bit tired and then your vision gets kind of blurry. So now after like 6 weeks, 7 weeks, I have nearly perfect vision. I had a checkup yesterday and they measured my eyesight again, and apparently like one of my eyes is currently at 20/20 and the other one is at 20/22, if that makes any sense. So I'm pretty happy with it. My vision is kind of crystal clear, unless I spend the entire day looking at monitors. Then the vision is still getting a little bit worse in the evening, meaning it gets a little bit blurry when I try to read text off a monitor. I can still read it, so it's not a problem to actually read the text. It's just like, I think you could best describe it, there's a little bit of a shadow there. So the text looks a bit blurry, but I can still make it out. At first, within the first few weeks, it was very different. It was sometimes so bad that I could not read the text because my eyes were so tired. I had to close them and to just relax for a couple of minutes, and then it was a little bit better. But that's something that you definitely have to keep in mind if you think about getting the surgery yourself. One of the main things after the surgery is that I was actually bored out of my mind within the first few days, because there's nothing you can do. You can't read, you can't play games on the computer, you can't look at your phone for a really long period of time. Audiobooks, I had a lot of those, but after you listen to audiobooks for a couple of hours, they bore the hell out of you. You're just lying on your bed and you're like, oh God, please give me something to do, because there's like nothing. So make sure that if you get the surgery, that you contact a lot of friends beforehand and tell them your job is to talk to me for 3 days straight and entertain me somehow. And I'm not kidding, guys. This is one of the major problems that I had to deal with there. So these are just a few of the things, but let's go over a couple of the the biggest concerns that people have getting the surgery. I personally, as mentioned before, was in a situation where I was really worried about dry eyes. And before I got the surgery, they already told me that my eyes are a little bit dry, like drier than they normally would be, which I, of course, never noticed because for me that was the normal state. After the surgery, I had to start dropping my eyes with 3 different type of eye drops. And by now I'm down to 2. Like I have artificial tears, just if my eye is dry, I don't really have to take them anymore, but every now and then I just use a drop. And I have another one that I have to use 4 times a day, and apparently like in another like 3 weeks, I can go down to 3 times a day, and yeah, like that. So that's at least what they told me at the checkup that I had yesterday. So right now I'm actually in a really good position with my eyes. The eye drops were not as annoying as I thought. It's actually something that you just do automatically at some point. My eyes don't hurt. They don't really get so dry that I have an issue with that or that it's uncomfortable. I feel absolutely normal. In the morning sometimes my eyes are maybe a little bit dry and I just use 1 eye drop and that's about it. But besides that, I actually tend to forget the eye drops these days. So I have to actually set an alarm at my phone to remind me of putting the eye drops in. So you can see that it can't really affect me a lot because then I would of course remember it by myself and then just put them in. So that's definitely not an issue. It was much less of a hassle than I thought originally it would be. And I was already told that in a few months' time I can completely stop using the eye drops at all. Another thing that I have to do right now is when it's sunny outside, I have to wear like either like a cap or I have to wear sunglasses because UV light can apparently like damage my eyesight a little bit. So that's something that will go on for roughly half a year. So for me that's going to be another like 4 or 5 months, but it's not that big of a deal. And yeah, another problem that a lot of people mentioned was halos during the night, that when that your night vision is really bad. Once again, the surgery that I got has something, I think it's called wavefront. I think that's pretty common. I don't think that's restricted to the clinic in Gangnam where I went to, but I think it's some kind of wavefront thingy that is included in the procedure and that is supposed to make sure that your night vision is not that bad. Right now I would say my night vision is pretty good. I have small halos, but they are really not all that noticeable. Like it's not an inconvenience, and even before, like at night, if a car comes towards you and you see the lights, if you go to a traffic light, and yeah, sometimes you have just these halos, but like right now it's not really bad. It's barely noticeable in my personal opinion, and it's supposed to be like even better in a few months past. So right now it's not even supposed to be all that good, but I'm completely happy with it. If before the surgery I would have known that I've been in this exact state and my eyes would stay at that state, I would have made that decision immediately. So I'm already happy with it as it is, but it's going to improve. Like the problem that I mentioned before, that when I spend a day like looking at monitors at a TV screen or like reading, and then later on I have like some small problems with blurry vision, like reading of things, that is going to disappear. Like the more my eyes get used to everything, the more that will normalize. For example, right now my camera is maybe like a foot in, like a meter or whatever, not a foot, a meter away from me. And right at the lens there is like an inscription that says like that says the brand, and it's really, really tiny. So I can make that out, I can read that, but it's really blurry. So I have to squint a little bit to look at that. But that's as bad as it gets, and that is supposed to like get better over time anyways. So bottom line, my vision from my personal point of view is nearly perfect. Sometimes after a long and exhausting day, my vision gets a little bit blurry, making out tiny details. That is supposed to get a lot better over the next few months. It has only been 6 weeks since I got my surgery, and keep in mind this is always Lasek. This is not Lasik, where you're supposed to have like perfect vision after the next day for the reasons that I mentioned before, the creation of that flap at your cornea. So I'm pretty happy with the result right now, and I don't think that I will have to use a follow-up video. Things are going to get a little bit better, but at this point it's already nearly perfect. So I'm very happy that I got the surgery, that I made the decision to get it, and I can only recommend it. Find like a clinic somewhere. You can also go to Korea if you want. A lot of people have been asking me how much I actually paid for it. I personally paid for my surgery like $1,500 US. And if you think about what it costs in the US and also in Europe, in Korea it's a standard procedure, it's on a very high quality level. So for a lot of people that I talked with, it would actually be worth it getting it here and getting a free holiday in Korea out of it as well. something that you might consider if you have problems with your eyesight and you want to improve that. That's definitely one of the things that I can recommend. I know that's a little bit like, people will be a little bit anxious about it and be like, yeah, it's my eyes, but I don't think there are a lot of things that can go wrong. The entire process lasted maybe like 5 minutes per eye, if so. It was absolutely painless. There was like nothing, and I think the biggest problem is really being afraid of what's going on. But make sure that you inform yourself. You can of course always ask at one of those clinics, get a checkup with your eyes. I'm happy that I did it. I considered it for a long time. I talked to a lot of people, and I actually had a decent amount of problems finding like really good material on the internet where people talked about their personal experience with that. So I hope that this video maybe helps you a bit to make the decision or to not make the decision, like to just give you some basics and some information about it. If you have any additional questions, if there are a lot of things that people want to know, then just post them in the YouTube comment. If there are actually like questions that people apparently still don't know how to deal with that, then I'm happy to record another video at some point. But I feel that most of the things about the surgery have been covered in one of the videos. This is not the only video that I recorded about it. So if this is the video that you jumped in for some reason, make sure that you check out the entire playlist. I think I recorded about 5 of them before the surgery. I took a video at the clinic itself. I also interviewed some of the staff. So there should be a lot of material for you guys to make a decision if you have a problem with your eyesight. And as I said, if you have any additional questions, let me know. If there is a demand, I will definitely make sure to record another video. For now, I'm really happy with it. I hope that's the last video that I'm going to record about the surgery. And yeah, I hope that you guys have a good day. Make sure that you upvote the video if you like the content. Subscribe to the channel, of course. And I'm going to see you soon for another video from Korea. Bye-bye.